Slack Tail Squad, assemble.
Hey there, listeners of the great Slaptail Squad, my nation, my Slaptail Nation. It is I, the Beaveman, Master of the Universe. I'm tired of being the Master of my own universe. I'm going back to being the Master of the Universe. Leader and General of the great Slaptail Nation Army. You might remember me from such podcasts as the Slaptail Squad, and that's why you're listening. Also, possibly Beaveman and the Doc and Beaveman and the Daughter. And, most recently, you might remember me from the Wisdom app, where I impart my quote-unquote wisdom. And with me today is my number 2. He smells like poo. His name... Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to say master of all things great and small. Great, like my love of Star Wars. Small, like this tiny Yoda on my back. Who's frightening. He's terrifying. But he was a Christmas gift, and so I will be wearing him for this podcast. And with me today, as I stated earlier, is my number 2. He smells like poo, the Ronz.
Hey, you know, as a Jedi in training, I think that's a fantastic look for you.
Thank you. I don't know that I'm a Jedi in training, but I do appreciate the sentiment.
He doesn't want to be a Jedi.
The Jedi don't fuck.
Yeah.
They just don't fuck, Ronz.
He's definitely not going to be a Jedi. They're
They
too
don't
wholesome.
Fight with anger.
They're too
You
wholesome.
know,
Anger in their
Luke
heart.
really never became a Jedi.
Yes, he did.
No, because Yoda
Yeah, he
said,
did.
if you leave now, you won't complete.
No.
You can't complete your Jedi
No.
But
training.
he
Luke's a
went
Jedi,
back.
Oh,
You-
okay, fair enough. I'm not going to argue.
Clearly,
with
you're
you,
totally discounting the third movie.
But oh wow, that really does move with you. I mean, I watched you move your arm, and the hand kind of moved with you.
Anyway, frightening, terrifying. Also with us today is the Swan. Say hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan. That's all
Thanks
I
for
got.
joining
That's
us.
all I got.
That's all you got. She's in the tiny beaver nook, the beaver den.
The Swan Beaver Nest, or what? The
yes,
Beaver Nest.
Also known as the Swan Gash. It's the Swan
No.
Gash. No?
Whoa.
No.
Like that.
No, I don't even know
I
what
like
that
the
means,
swan
but I don't
nest.
like it.
I tried the Swan's Nest before, and she didn't like it. So
No, it was the Beaver Swan Nest, or the
No, first it was the Swan thing, and then you're like, but I'm a beaver. Maybe listen to a podcast. Also with us today is the talented, the beautiful Tremonde.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Tremonde.
Right off the bat, did you guys enjoy your Christmas? Or as I like to say, Quizmas.
You know, because you guys are a big part of my life, you made my Christmas a lot better.
Can't
Not that it
handle
wasn't
Baby
always
Yoda.
good.
Can't handle Baby Yoda.
That's not Baby Yoda. That is Yoda.
Yoda.
He's getting a little
creepy
hot.
Yoda.
And I was tired of his breath on my neck. It was getting a little...
Or his baby,
I didn't
or his Yoda little penis.
Is that what that... I felt in my
Probably
back?
was what
That's
you
what I
felt.
felt in my upper back? I don't know, that's
You
what
like
it
thought
was.
it was a lightsaber.
Let's just say it's not proportioned. It's not proportional. Yoda is basically a tripod. So yeah, that's
Oh, there you go. I found this Christmas so much more interesting because I was Quizmas, because I was a bigger part of something. You know, and on top of that, I got to go shopping for the first time in years for friends.
Because he
And it was
doesn't normally
fantastic.
have friends.
No, I normally have friends, but you know, I usually don't give them gifts because I didn't have a job, and you know, I really don't want anything in return. But it was really cool to actually try and pick apart the Beaveman, the Swan, and Tremonde and see what gifts to get you guys. And there was that one gift. After I got it, you told me that you weren't a big fan of it. I had to rethink how I was going to give that to you, and I'm like, well, it could be a gift for the Beaveman and you. So I thought it
It's
was
cool.
really cool.
It's cool. I was just fucking with you, Ronz. Tremonde doesn't have his gift yet from you, so he doesn't
he
know
doesn't.
about it.
No.
So,
He's
Oh,
still,
so-
it's right next to his birthday gift from us from a long time ago. So apparently the Ronz believes that I'm some sort of a delivery service and I have to take this to Tremonde.
Well, you never gave me his address.
You didn't ask either.
You
And you
usually
didn't
don't have
ask-
to ask. You tell
And
me.
You didn't ask Tremonde either. So
Well,
you
this is
could
the only time
actually
I ever.
you could actually communicate back and forth. I will
Yeah,
say
you're
this,
right.
Ronz. I don't eat cereal. I don't eat
I
cereal.
know you don't.
The Ronz
But
got me He-Man cereal, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to open it because I want the miniature battle cat
that's
inside.
the reason I got it for you, because you needed a toy.
Excellent job. The miniature battle cat is flipping fucking sweet, and now I want all the action figures. So I looked it up real quick to see if I could just buy the action figures, and I found them at what is it? The green one. What's the green one?
Dollar
Dollar
Tree?
Tree.
Dollar Tree. Dollar
Dollar
Tree
Tree.
has the tiny miniature. It's got the miniature He-Man figures, and you can buy the complete set of 24 for $1 a piece.
Wow. I mean,
So
that's
I
a
was
decent
gonna do
investment.
that. It's a good, an investment. There's not going to be worth anything more
It
than
might.
$1 in 30 years. But the shipping was $9.99, so I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to pay $9.99 to ship it. I'll just have to go to Dollar Tree and see if I can collect them all. But I definitely got to get Skeletor and He-Man for my Battle Cat.
Okay.
And it comes in
probably
a
find
came in a little
yourself-
plastic case. Also, it's pretty dope.
You're
Well,
probably
I have-
going to find yourself going through to every Dollar
Tree.
store.
Yeah. And then
Tree.
you're going to be pissed because you find 19 out of the 24 or 20.
So what you're saying is I should just order the 24 and pay
Yes.
the $9.99 shipping.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, that would be
yes,
a
you
lot
should.
better, because they're only going to make so many in production.
But what if they don't
And-
come? I don't think they're going to come in the little plastic display case, though. That's pretty dope. The little Battle Cat comes in a plastic display case, which is sweet.
So what? That's fantastic. I'll look that up. I don't see the unique gift I got you, though. I thought you were going to be hanging it in your background.
Ronz, do you know how? First of all, okay, Tremonti, the Ronz got me.
I do, actually.
I do love He-Man. I do love He-Man. But the new one, I didn't like the first season too much. It was okay. The second season is quite a bit better. But Ronz got me this giant promotional poster from Netflix for He-Man, Masters of the Universe Revelations. And when I say it's a giant poster, I mean it's taller than I am, and it's about, what is it, Ronz, like 4 foot wide?
It's
I
the
think so,
size
yeah.
of, if you roll it out, it takes up our whole bed. Like, it's the size of a bed.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow.
and it's not, and it's so heavy because obviously they don't want it to rip, that it's made of that like plasticized paper.
Yeah.
And so I told Swan, I'm like, I would hang this, but it will take up an entire wall of my office. So
But
I
that would-
might still hang it, Ronz. I just don't know about the durability and like what I'm going to hang it on.
You
It is
being the
very cool though. It's very cool though. It is
Excuse me.
cool.
You being the master of the universe, it was very difficult to look for a gift of that proportion for you. And when the opportunity presented itself, because you always say you're the master of the universe, I thought I should take this. And
It is
run with
cool. It is cool. I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm going to pay tribute to getting it. I'll probably have to hang it. I don't know, Swan. What do you think? Do I have to hang it on the office wall?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much. And Ronz, the plan is sometime, hopefully this weekend, the Swan and I are going to stage a picture for you, and I'll send it to you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
We
with
could
a
probably
little
post
creep.
it on your
Yeah,
On
with a
our
little
Facebook.
creepy fella. With a little creepy fella that was just on my back. Did you see
Well,
that?
you
Did you see the picture I put on Instagram?
I did. I thought that was great. When your crazy drunk uncle or something shows up, I thought that was great.
creepy uncle.
Did you see that,
Creepy.
Tremonti?
I did not.
Oh, well, we'll have to send it to you.
Do you all have a plethora of costumes at your house?
Like what?
I don't know, because when you say you're going to stage a photo.
Oh
with your
no, but
He-Man
you'll
figures,
understand.
picture you-
You're going to understand the picture that I stage also, Tremonti, because
Gotcha.
you have now been introduced to the Beaveman's love of certain pop culture. Speaking of which, a couple things. Ronz, I'm sorry, your other gift did not make it there this week. It got delayed, but it's coming
Oh.
next week. It's coming next
Well,
week,
the headsets got here.
no. This is a different gift I got you.
Oh,
This is a gift that I got you that I've wanted to get you for a while, and I forgot, and I totally forgot because Christmas came around. I was like, "What was it that I wanted to get him?" And I couldn't remember what it was. And then it dawned on me, a week ago?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's
the
what
day
it
of
was."
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ordered it for you, and it's coming this week.
I am truly humbled.
Is that the
but-
butt plug you were talking about?
No. You can get those same day shipped. You can get those same day. They'll even drone those to you. And what you do is you wait on the lawn with your pants down, your ass up in the air, and you just drop it. You drop it right on down.
That's gross.
I would have accepted that as
Well, once it
know,
reaches terminal velocity,
He just said he would have accepted that. Like,
it came for the Beaveman.
yeah.
cheeks.
If they drop it
Oh,
high
good.
enough, they drop it high enough, it'll reach terminal velocity, and you won't even have to stimulate your opening runs. It'll plunge right in there.
Let's hope it hits.
And this is why you listen to the Slaptail Squad, folks. This is why you listen. No, it's a totally different gift, and you're gonna laugh when you get it. You're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it.
I think he's gonna love it. It's gonna be one of his new favorites.
Speaking of which,
How's your chapstick?
Tremonde, yeah, how's the chapstick?
The chapstick is going great. I'm using it every so often when I remember.
Every
I
hour?
keep it in my
You're using it every hour?
when I remember when I'm
Oh.
not busy.
Honest question though, honestly, Ronz,
Yeah.
do you actually note now benefit to it? Has it made you feel better now that you're taking care of that mucous membrane?
Not really. I mean, what?
Really? I'm shocked. I'm surprised. I really thought that you would take to it and be like, you know what, this is a little bit of self-care.
My lips
Oh,
feel
it's
good.
Somebody-
self-care. I appreciate the gift, and I try to use it. I try to feel the difference.
He's
in
like,
my
I try to
lips.
feel the difference. I'll just leave
No,
it to you.
I do. I honestly try compare, because I've never used chapstick, and I'm doing that. And I think, after about a couple more weeks of using it, I'll feel the difference.
The calluses on his lips have to go away first.
Just slough off his fourth layer.
Yeah.
Tremonde, we got you something special, and did you kind of laugh when you got it? Other than the headsets, he's muted.
I can't hear
Tremonde
you.
knows that he's muted. Tremonde, do you know?
Sorry
you're muted?
about that.
Oh, there we go.
Because I have a little one in the background trying to make sure that no noises is being picked up.
Ah.
But yes, the movies, yes, absolutely.
Have you watched any
Oh.
of them?
I have
Oh,
not yet.
tell Ronz what you got, because I don't think Ronz
Please.
knows what you got.
You want to
do
see?
not.
Sure.
Would that would mean I have to?
No,
go
you
get
don't
them?
have to.
Oh, you can just tell us.
You can just tell us.
Just tell us.
But I got two great films. Hang on one second. My child is now yelling.
Tell her to
will be
shut the
right back.
There's
fuck
gonna be a
up.
swift beat. There's gonna be
Yeah,
a
put a
swift
beat down on
A
that kid.
Swift beating.
No, we don't encourage beating your children.
No,
we just talk
don't.
about it.
We do. but I've never-
Honestly, since Tremonde's not there, I thought of his small child, and I thought I got him the rainbow pencil for her so she can color.
Oh, that was nice. Did you tell that Tremonde? Oh, Tremonde hasn't
No, I
got it
did.
yet.
I
Yeah,
did
you
not.
better tell him because he's. Oh no, he doesn't know what he got yet. So don't tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And
know
I
yet.
definitely went out and got you a deck of Pride cards, Swan. I really did.
I
I
like
made
them.
sure that after you told me that I hate Monopoly. When I was 10, I had the cards. So I'm like, oh man.
I looked all over for those after you, because I was gonna get them for one of my other friends, and I couldn't find them anywhere. So I ended up having to order them online for
The garbage pail kid.
No,
cards?
the Pride
Oh yeah.
Uno cards. Yeah. So
I knew where to find them.
where'd you find them?
His butt.
Five Below, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it really is.
Hmm.
So
That
I
store
thought-
has
I-
some pretty
you know,
fun stuff.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
had to.
it
You
does.
had to go look for it.
I will say this
Tremonde's
though. You know the Tremonde's back. Here he's back.
Back again. No.
Tell a friend.
There we go.
Look who's back.
Yay.
Look
You
who's
put her in her
back.
cage.
Sorry, we built a fort, and one of the chairs was starting to fall down because the cover
COVID?
was pulling it or whatever.
Because of
Well, we're
COVID.
all good now.
Yeah, Fort falls down because of COVID.
No.
Those
So,
those
in
headphones.
In addition to my
Yes, go ahead.
in addition to my beautiful headset, I got two great films: Blade, which I've heard a lot about, but I've never watched it.
I love
And-
Blade. I love
Say it
Blade.
again.
I love
What was
Blade.
the other one?
Who is the character or the actor in Blade?
What? It's
Wesley
Wesley fucking
Snipes. Yeah,
Snipes. Wesley
Is that-
fucking
That's what I
Snipes.
was thinking. That's what I was thinking. But then I had Samuel L. Jackson in my head for some reason as well.
Like
That's just because he's in everything.
It's because
Yeah, he
he's
is.
black. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yet-
God,
so all black
Tremonde.
people look the same to you, Tremonde?
Yeah. Jeez.
Hey,
I was gonna say that, but I figured just by luck you twisted
If
against
you
me.
would have said, I was gonna say, if you would have said it, we would have been all over you.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Ronz?
Are you going to talk about it being gay too, Ronz?
I knew that was coming up. But real quick, not to reveal what you got, but I did get your daughter something, a rainbow pencil so she can color with.
All over your
thank you.
walls.
Yeah.
Well, do you, Hermione, so when you saw those movies, did you realize why I did it? Was that one of those things where you're like,
Well, I figure he was like, I know Tremonde has not seen these.
yeah, it's just another me exposing you to my pop culture
Yeah.
of all the nerdy things that I like.
I mean, so far, Tremonde's picks of things have been good. We've watched Pose, and that's a good. You picked good on that one. I like that one.
Not the music.
Well, maybe not the music, but
What music did he pick?
Fucking choir music. Anyway.
Was he in the choir?
no. Oh my God, Ronz, don't
Son
do
of a
it.
bitch, Ronz. He was not in the fucking choir with
No. You misunderstood what I just said. I thought he sent you choir music on a CD, and he might have been in the choir.
No,
Ronz, do you
we've
not
already
remember?
we had this
You listened
conversation like
to it
a
also.
million podcasts ago.
No. I understand that. I thought he was in.
No.
Okay,
no.
okay, fair enough.
I
enough.
hate you so much because we've had the same conversation
we
every
did.
single time.
No.
Every
I know.
fucking time you're like, oh, you mean the choir that Tremonde was in when he made
No,
that DVD? When he
I
made that
know.
CD?
Tremonde was
I
in
know.
a choir, but not in the
Yeah,
music that he sent
Holy
us.
shit!
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
let
Shut
me
up,
explain
Ronz.
myself?
No,
I
we're not. See,
completely
that's the thing.
understood.
We're not going to let you explain yourself. We're not.
That's
We're
why
gonna
we're
move on.
talking over you right now.
We're going to
Because
move
that
on.
conversation was
We're going to
beat.
move on.
This is a press conference gone bad. Anyway,
Anyway,
so
We're going to move on. I was thinking, because I was watching this movie and I was reading some short stories, and I wanted to talk about the correlations between the short stories, how they relate to each other, and what life is like now.
all right.
So the first story that I looked at, and I don't know, and I was asking Swan if she'd read this story in middle school or elementary school, and she hadn't. So I'm going to ask the same question of you guys. Did you guys read the lottery in school?
No.
Really? Dronde? I'm going to say that he's saying no because his mic is muted, but I can read his
No,
lips.
I haven't.
Okay. So do you know anything about the lottery?
No.
None of you have heard of it? Ronz, have you heard of the lottery?
No, not until you mentioned the cliff notes.
Okay. So the lottery is a story that was written by Shirley Jackson, and it was published in I've got my notes here, in June of 1948, and it was published in the New Yorker. And it's a short story. It's a dystopian society. And in this society, every year they have a box, and every family's name goes in the box, and they draw out of the box. And if there's a family that has a black spot on their family name, then they take that, and that family is chosen. And then that family, if depending on how many members in the family you have, they make up a slip for each member of the family, and then they put that in the box again, and they put a black dot on one of them, and whoever pulls the black dot slip is the one who wins the lottery. So the whole story is about the town doing stuff, talking to each other, having a good day, and they're all preparing to have the lottery done by like 10 a.m. that morning. So at 10 a.m. or so, they all gather, and there's only a couple of people that talk about it, saying, we shouldn't do the lottery anymore, or maybe we should consider not doing the lottery anymore. There's other towns that are not doing the lottery anymore, but a lot of people are saying, no, it's tradition. We have to do the lottery. It's a tradition. It's a time-honored tradition. And if you do this, then usually we'll have a good harvest. That's their thought process. So they draw. This certain family gets the black spot. So then they have to draw for all their family members. So they've got like 2 kids, a wife, and a husband. They shake the thing up and they draw, and the wife gets the black spot. And then she starts bitching that she got the black spot and it wasn't fair, et cetera, et cetera. And so then they just stone her to death. That's the lottery. She won. That's the story.
so the winning of the lottery, you get killed, stoned. The winner.
I mean, I
gets
guess technically
stoned.
you won
That's
the lottery.
terrible. Like, so she was okay if it wouldn't have been her. She would have been okay if it was like one of her kids or her
Yes,
husband.
good point. Hold on to that thought.
Okay.
So now, does that story remind you guys of anything?
Yeah, it does.
It reminds me of the Hunger Games. It reminds
Like,
me
It
of the
sounds like
Hunger
the Hunger
Games.
Games.
Ronz is like, yes, it does.
It does.
Could you elaborate? It's a podcast, Ronz.
Oh, I didn't want to get yelled at for doing anything. Like I mentioned, it reminded me of the Sliders episode I saw, but kind of in reverse. And what happens is
All right,
during
hold
this
that thought.
episode,
All right,
Hold that
thought.
thought.
Just
hold
hold that thought. All you had to do was say, all I did was say to remind you of something. You're like, yeah, Sliders. Okay, great. All right.
Jeez.
Fantastic. And remind what does the Jesus have to do with this? You
All
know
right.
what? Here's another question. You know that song, Jesus Take the Wheel?
Yes.
You ever heard that song?
No, I
The
don't.
girl's
Yes.
driving down the road. She got her baby in the back, and she like hits a patch of ice, or she falls asleep, or something like that. And she's spinning out of control, and she decides to let go of the steering wheel so Jesus can take the wheel. Dumbest thing you can do, people. Never do that. Jesus
Amen.
is not going to take the wheel. He is not going to control your car. I'm not even going to try. Jesus, take the wheel. No, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. Tremonde, your thoughts. Super religious guy. Do you think that's a good idea for Jesus to take the wheel?
Yes and no. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would just like.
Oh
take my
wait,
hands
I
off.
want him to defend this. Go ahead. Why should
Look how
Jesus
they
take the
keep
wheel?
hands
Please
off
let
like
us
he's
know.
in church.
So like for me, it's like just like okay, like I can't control this. Like I'm gonna need some other source.
But you could.
I mean, just
to-
so
you
go.
literally could. You literally could control it a little bit there. You got a steering wheel.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be crying Jesus too.
How many
Yeah, you could.
accidents
You
have
could
you
pray
been
to
in?
Jesus while you got your hands on the steering wheel. That'd probably be a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. I wouldn't just like raise my hands through the sunroof. and,
Pray
like,
to Jesus.
Put it in
You gotta
prayer
do it,
hands
baby Jesus.
positions. Prayer hands.
Save me.
Basically,
me.
if your hands are off the steering wheel, you've just given up and saying, "Pray for the best."
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, that's-
Because, in my opinion, Jesus would want you to try to take some sort of accountability for yourself. Maybe.
and
When-
on top of
when you're
that,
up there, when you're up there in heaven, and you go up to Jesus, and you're like, Jesus, I said take the wheel. I had so much faith in you, and Jesus is like, dumb bitch, put your hand on the steering wheel.
on top of that, does Jesus know how to drive? They didn't have cars back then.
Well,
so-
he is all knowing, so I'm going to guess that he does.
right.
He's omnipotent, Ronz. You don't understand that because you're Jewish.
Oh,
homophobic
boy.
and racist too, right?
Yes.
Pretty much. I'm glad we
So
clarified
if you're
that.
Jewish, wait a minute, whoa, whoa, whoa.
But
Hold
all
on just a
you're
second.
making a
we
blanket
go.
statement. All
we go.
Jewish people are homophobic and racist. Good job,
That's
Ronz.
it. That's
Good
it.
job, Ronz.
Yeah, but you said that on your own. We didn't say that. So
No,
you
you're
said-
right, because you know what? I've learned that you're going to lead. You're going to lead down that path regardless, right? Sort of like when the Swan said, "Oh, it's because they're black." Now, if I would have said that, I would have been chastised by you. So I've just learned to. You're going to get hit. You might as well just step up and take the hits.
You can make it worse. Let me just make it worse. Okay,
Yeah, make
so
it
the
worse.
next story I'm going to ask you about, and then I'll let you get to yours, Ron. Let me get through these.
By all means.
How about examination day? Did you guys ever read a story called Examination Day in middle school or elementary school?
Once again, no.
No.
Nope.
Really? What? Did I just live in some sort of
what
dystopian
did
little
you-
village?
Apparently, your
Well,
weird
yeah.
little
What did you go
podunk town was.
I went to a redneck school called Bellevue Schools, Bellevue Public Schools.
Yeah, nope. Nope.
No, so nobody read this, huh? Okay, so Examination Day. This was written by Henry Slessor, another short story in 1958. This was a quick read. I think I sent it to you guys. I know I sent it to
You
Swan.
did.
Well, Examination Day. There's a young man. He's turning 12. And before his 12th birthday, his parents are talking to him. His mom briefly mentions something about this exam that he has to do, but she tells him not to worry about it. But she obviously looks worried. His dad's kind of a dick. He's kind of a grouchy guy. He's not like super loving. And he's telling the mom, basically, he's like, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He'll do fine with the exam. And the kid's like, what's the exam about? They're like, nothing. It's just a general knowledge exam that the government does. It's not a problem. You'll be fine. But you kind of get this impression that the mom and dad are actually worried about the kid taking the test. And so throughout the story, the kid asks questions like, why is the sky blue? Why is grass green? All these logical questions that anybody would ask. But his dad always says stuff like, because it is, or stuff like that. He doesn't ever have an answer for him. And then the kid briefly mentions, hey, I asked my friend about this test. He took it and he said it was fine, that I would be fine. So the day of their birth, his birthday comes. They have a whatever birthday, but then he's supposed to take the exam the next week. So he's a little nervous. He goes to take the exam. He takes the exam. They ask him a couple questions. And the thing is, you can't lie on this exam. They give you this truth serum that you take. So you have to answer the questions. You have no option. So later on, his parents are at home. They're waiting to hear back from his exam so they can go pick him up. They get a call that says, hey, your son is done with the exam. He exceeds the level of intelligence that is allowed by the government. So do you want us to bury him, or do you want to pay the $5 to have him buried?
I saw that as a short, it was either on the Outer Limits or something, and they did it. And I remember
they made
that.
it. Yeah, they made it as a TV show. Well,
I did see that. And yeah, that was just heart-wrenching.
Did you cry?
I felt sad. I really did.
Did you squirt some? Really?
No. But I felt
did you
sad
feel sad because if it happened here, you knew you would live?
Oh, no. Because I know
you're like, all my friends would be dead.
You know why they did that, though? Do you remember the reason why they were taking the test and why they killed the child?
I just told you why. He exceeded the intelligence. In other words, he was too smart.
No, there was another reason.
No. You're reading into it because you saw the television show. The short story doesn't go into it.
Okay, so then why does the television show?
The short story is literally like 3 pages long. It's very
fair
short.
Enough. But the government didn't want another takeover. They didn't want smart people trying to take over the world again.
Well, they just don't want smart people. They just didn't want smart people, period.
So a dystopian future.
Right. This is all dystopian.
That's probably how the real world is.
Is it not?
Yeah.
You're gonna get
I don't know.
We're going to get to it.
Okay.
One of the 4 smartest people on the planet. Look, we're hiding out, doing a podcast.
True. There is some trueness to that. Okay, so this other story, you guys have already heard about the Hunger Games, so I don't need to go into that too much. But I guess for people who haven't heard of the Hunger Games, I can describe it a little bit. This other story I read many years ago as a small child,
as a little boy,
and it's called Winonah's Gift, and it's by Molly Gloss. And this was released in Isaac Asimov's magazine of science fiction back in July of 1986. See if this story sounds familiar. So there's this girl, and she's building her house. Once you reach a certain age,
it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Shut up,
building
Ronz.
a little house. She's building herself a little house, and throughout the day, people come and they help her build her house because there's a time hack. Apparently, her house has to be built by a certain time, and you can hear people all around also building houses. And so people come by, they stop, they hang out with her. And then her grandmother comes by and she doesn't help her because she's old. And then they have some lunch together. And then they go off to a big celebration in the village. So they're all out there. Everybody's having fun, playing games, drinking, whatever. But the girl doesn't get to eat. She's fasting. She's fasting for a ceremony.
Seems like a fun party.
Okay, great. She's fasting for a ceremony. So then they go back to the hut, her and her grandmother. They sleep. Actually, they go to the grandmother's house. They sleep in there. And grandmother is a maker of bows. That's what she does. She makes bows. So in the morning, at
like bow and arrow
dusk,
bows, right?
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I mean, Tremonti's over there looking like she's making like hair bows and shit. He's like, oh,
Yeah, you
That's
said
chin.
the grandmother makes bows.
What? Oh, no. Not that kind
Yeah,
of bow.
I mean, you could have seen he was all excited. Grandma was making fashion bows.
Yeah.
See?
I thought you were talking about Rod, who's
Swan,
like, oh, she
it's
makes
crazy
6 foot
how
sticks.
much you know me, Swan.
I do know you. His eyes lit up. His eyes lit up about it. He's like, oh, Grandma's
I was literally
cool.
thinking that.
At some point, she puts cornrows in the girl's hair. No, that's not what we're talking about. So anyway, the girl goes out. She's standing on the porch or whatever. It's slightly raining. The grandmother comes out to her, hands her a sheaf of a quiver of arrows and the bow, and says, "Wait." She's like, "Everybody else will run off. You wait." And she's like, "Okay." So she walks away. She goes and meets up with 2 other kids who are the same age as her, and they walk her. They go walking forever, and they get to this ruins. And at the ruins, there's now other people are showing up with priests or holy men and other kids of the same age. And then they walk them off to spots individually and tell them, wait for the sound of the horn. They're like, okay. So the horn sounds, and then she runs off. She just takes off like a scared animal. And then she remembers her grandmother's words of to just sit there and wait. So she sits and waits and waits and waits and waits. And then several, they don't say how much time goes by, obviously a long time. She sees an animal running through the woods towards her, but the animal doesn't see her. So she stands up, fires her arrow, kills it, and then drags it back to the ruins for her confirmation. She dips her face in blood and marks her face. And it was one of the people that she grew up with. So she's now confirmed. And that's the end of the story.
So the animal was one of her friends?
Yeah, she just happened to, unfortunately, it was one of her friends. That just happens to be who ran by. It could have been anybody. But she had to make her way carefully back. So, tradition. This was another tradition. And you could tell that, again, this was after the fall of modern civilization. You could slightly tell by the ruins that they were talking about.
Okay.
So that's totally like the Hunger Games. Well, basically.
Yeah, that's what's really interesting about that one is it's totally like the Hunger Games, but if you do a search for Winonah's gift, how you can usually find stuff on Wikipedia or, brief synopsis of stuff, you can't find that. The only way I found that story was I had to remember where I read it. And then I looked up that, and I remember the main story that I read out of that book, which was Gilgamesh in the Outback. And then I looked at the table of contents to find it. And then I had to track the artist down. And then I had to find the story. And then I paid for it on Kindle just so I could read it.
So basically, they hushed her when the Hunger Games came out?
Swan for 2 seconds there. She's still talking, but...
Well, I said, so basically they hushed her. Like, you can't find her anywhere. And Hunger Games writer, whoever that is, got credit for her work.
Well, I didn't even think of that, Swan, but that was kind of a diabolical twist.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe there's some conspiracy going on about Winonah's gift.
Interesting.
Writer.
Maybe, but she's a fairly well known and has won a lot of awards. But what I thought was interesting in that whole respect is we all know the Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen, dystopian society in the future. They're trying to keep everybody oppressed. They pick by random numbers once you come of age, 2 kids from each village, 1 boy, 1 girl to go compete in the Hunger Games and to the death. And there's only 1 winner. We all know that story.
Yeah.
But that was my thing when I was thinking about it. And I can remember watching the Hunger Games and saying, oh, they must have based it on that story I read years ago.
I mean, there was like the sound of the horn and all that stuff that sounds the same. Like every day the horn goes off, and then when people die, the chimes go off or something.
Well, you can go online and you can type in the lottery, and you'll get a bunch of results that come back and say, is the Hunger Games based on the lottery, or similarities between the Hunger Games and the lottery? And there's people that have written essays on it. It's one of the first things you can see when you type in the lottery is all this references to the Hunger Games. So you would assume that probably the person who wrote the Hunger Games, which was published in 2008 by Susan Collins, you would assume that that's what she kind of based it off of. That's not stealing. I mean, you just took an idea from a dystopian society and she expanded on it and she wrote a bunch of books. Great.
Yeah. Ronz, are you sleeping? Why are your eyes closed? Why are your eyes closed?
I'm listening to the Beaveman.
Oh, like intently?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay.
So once again, going back to the Hunger Games and the shows that we saw, or I saw, Sliders, like I said, I'll reference that, reminds me of a lot of this. It's almost a dystopian future, but when you win the lottery, your family is set for life, but you have to die. So that was pretty much like the lottery. See, everybody takes care of everybody, but that one person has to die. And I thought that was a pretty interesting take. And when they say that's kind of barbaric, one of the main characters says, we have euthanasia where we come from, and we have all this other stuff. Why is this any different? at least this is a little bit humane. People are willing to die to have their family taken care of for the rest of their lives. So it's a pretty interesting take on it.
Yeah, that's more civilized than the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Because in the Hunger Games, there's only one person who wins out of multiple villages or multiple districts. So you get 2 people from each district, and there's only one winner. And then if you win, your district does get like supplies or more supplies than everybody else, and you get your own house and everything. But yeah, it's that concept is better. But the reason why, so there's one person who says, "Oh, this is barbaric," in your example, but the rest of the society doesn't think so because they're steeped in tradition. So when are traditions dangerous and when are they not dangerous?
Oh, they're always dangerous.
Let's traditions are always dangerous. All traditions are always dangerous.
Definitely.
Like
definitely.
What? Such as?
Look at Christmas.
What's dangerous about Christmas?
It was taken from a pagan holiday.
Yeah, but I said what tradition is dangerous. You can't say that it was just because it was taken from something else that makes it dangerous. You just said Christmas. But that's our tradition now. The tradition is Christmas. What's dangerous about that tradition? You just said it was dangerous.
The thought behind it, because what if I'm not Christian and I don't celebrate Christmas?
Then it doesn't even bother you.
That makes it dangerous?
Well, no, yeah, because now it borderlines on the fanaticism, and I have to listen to gospel music that doesn't have any hand
change
clapping.
The channel.
Where's the
dangerous part?
Where's the danger?
Where are you?
All those Christmas trees that catch fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people don't water them.
Maybe you didn't understand the question about when is tradition dangerous. Here's a good one. How about the tradition that they have in some countries in the continent of Africa where they castrate females?
Oh, I'm for that.
Where they do genital mutilation. That's completely dangerous. There's
why would you be for castrating females?
Well, it's not castrating. I misspoke. Yeah. It's not castrating.
But wait, I want to see why Ronz is for that.
Yeah, why are you for castration?
I'm against it. I thought it was just, you were going to say that there are some countries where women aren't allowed to speak. And I'm like, okay,
you're for that one too? Okay. Well, what about like countries that limit you to having numbers of children? Lots of countries have limits on stuff like that.
I don't know that lots of countries do that. I mean, how many countries are there? 100 and...
I don't know. 5
countries.
5 countries? There's 7 continents, dumbass.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but who's the dumbass? You also said lots of countries limit the amount of children you have. And
I feel like lots do. Like, yeah.
Lots?
Okay, maybe not lots. Several. A few?
Well,
I don't know. Anyway.
You've got some of the Asian countries that have infanticide because they have daughters and they want a male to carry on the tradition.
Is that something that's still happening?
Oh yeah, it's kind of big. Right? They want the you have a son to carry on.
What's really fun is, and I should every once in a while I have to throw this caveat out there. We don't know anything clearly.
Yeah, apparently we don't.
First of all, the Swan just said that there's lots of countries that limit the amount of children you have. I don't think that's true. There might be 1 or 2 that we know very well about.
Okay.
Then the Ronz just said that it's a common practice to kill infants if they're not boys. So they're both talking about something that might have happened. Now, Swan, you're talking about something that got lifted, and you're talking about China.
Uh-huh.
I never mentioned that.
That got changed. But you said lots of countries.
Okay. Well, where do you think all those bodies came from that exhibit?
Guess what? We have this thing called the internet that you can really quickly fact check stuff on soaps.
Do we?
And then the Ron said that countries right now very typically practice infanticide if they don't have boys. So listeners of Slaptail Squad, you know that we are just talking out of our ass.
Probably.
So you're not going to learn anything. And if you want to fact check us, please go ahead, because I always say, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. If you're just brand new listening to us and you want to believe the shit that the Ronz and Swan says, go ahead.
Live in our world.
Because together, they're Ronz Swanson.
Hoya.
Oh no, let's not. I love that name, but Ronz. It goes on. However, I mean,
I was under the impression that you were saying this was a common practice, and now he's saying it goes on.
well, that would mean it's a common practice.
Oh, so it is it's a common practice. Which countries do this? What? Just out of curiosity.
China, India, Pakistan.
They very frequently kill the girl babies. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And you know this because...
I mean, in utero, like have abortions, or after birth smother them.
I honestly don't know the details on that.
After birth, they go to a cliff.
And they throw them off the edge. It's a hole. You can
Just
look
like
down there.
in Sparta. They look and they're like, this one won't be a healthy Spartan. And they're like,
yeah,
throw the baby.
Maybe that's what
and
they
there's
do.
And they cut to a scene where there's this big pile of bones.
Yeah, maybe that's
Have
what
you
they
seen
do.
300, Tremonde? Have you seen 300?
I have.
Of course not.
You haven't seen 300?
That's too graphic for Tremonde.
I will tell you one main reason why you want to see 300, Tremonde.
Ripped abs?
Ripped abs. Majorly ripped abs. Even I will watch that and go, some seriously ripped abs there.
Is that a scene in the film?
Where they throw the baby off the cliff?
Well, no. Where there's just this sea of bones.
Yeah, where they throw a baby. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, so they actually throw babies.
That's what that is true that the Spartans did that. If they thought there was a weakness in a child, they would kill it. You have to be strong.
Do they kill their old people too, or are they already dead by then? Okay.
I don't think so.
But for Tremonde's sake, there are men with a lot of abs.
Why, for Tremonde's sake, can't I look at abs too?
Yeah, what's up with that?
You're married to the Beaveman.
And
what more
the
do you want?
Beaveman just said that he likes to look at.
I thought they were that's one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies because of just the awesome amount of like how well they wield a spear and shield. That's fucking cool as hell. And they're all doing it not in armor. Their armor is a helmet and some knee and some shin protectors, but they're wearing sandals, capes, and just freaking little, basically shorty shorts, kicking ass. Tremonde,
being ripped.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Learn it. Know it.
So like looking at like that film to like where we are now, do you think like over time like we've become like pussies?
Oh yeah. Look around. You can't even tell males from females on a lot. And like, okay, I'm not trying to be mean, but everybody is so wafy, doughy, doughy, no muscle tone, just ugh.
Like, what's the word? Is it cisgender? Where they identify as one versus the other?
I'm not talking about.
No,
we are.
We're cis. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know,
Anyway.
I'm going to take a break real quick, and
okay, is this time to intro Tremonde's?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go. And now it's time for the Pride Fireside Chat with Tremonde, the suave and debonair of the House of Sexual Chocolate. The segment of our show when Tremonde fields ignorant questions from the squad and listeners about sexuality, beauty, fashion, and whatever else they happen to be particularly ignorant about.
All right.
Ronz, you have a question for Tremonde?
Yeah, I do, actually. This was...
No, just ask the question that you just asked.
No. I'm going to do it my way.
You're going to ask the question, and then you can ask your next one. But go ahead and ask him the question that you just...
So this was sent in by a listener.
No.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go with cisgender. Why is it called...
Because I fucking told you just ask your goddamn question, and then you can ask whatever you want. Hurry up.
Do it my way or you're off.
Hurry up.
Why is it called cisgender? I just said that. Why is it called cisgender?
He's asking you a question, Tremonde. You're muted, Tremonde. Tremonde, you're still muted. Tremonde, there you go. And he's muted again. Okay.
Why is it called cisgender?
Yeah, why is it called cisgender?
That's not your question. The question you really want to know is
that term for it.
The question you want to know is what is cisgender?
I'm glad the Beaveman has spoken for me. What is cisgender?
Because you don't know. So why don't you ask the
Wait,
actual question?
You thought it was where
listen.
they identify as both male or female or neither or whatever, but that's not even close to what that means. Whatever.
Okay, so I'm tired, but we won't
no
go there.
excuses.
Anyway,
Your ignorance happens whether you're tired or not.
You're absolutely right. So, what is cisgender?
Are you
He's quiet. Yeah.
Are you asking seriously?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask seriously then. What is cisgender? Because I really don't know.
So like cisgender, like how you identify it aligns with your birthed sex. So like the Beaveman identifies as a male, has male parts, and like so he responds in that manner, like he's heterosexual male, if you will.
So when you said that, I go, what's cisgender? I'm like, we, us, me, I'm cisgender.
Yeah. It's not someone who identifies as something different in some aspect. Everything kind of like aligns, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I had no idea.
Well, and that's why we have the Pride Fireside Chat with Tremonde. All right, I will allow you to ask one more question, Ronz. Go ahead.
Okay, this actually is a humorous bit because this question was posed to me by Shelby.
Your thumb?
I work with. The thumb.
Was it up your ass when you were when the question was posed, or
no? She listened to the podcast. She came up to me and says, "Can you ask this question?" And I said, "Well, okay, what's the question?" He goes, "Why is it called a blowjob when there's no blowing involved?"
Well, clearly Shelby is stupid. But okay.
No, I don't know the answer. And I said I would ask that for her. So I have asked it. So
why would we know the answer to that?
Yeah, why would we know the answer? And why would
nobody knows? That's why I thought
nobody knows the answer to that question.
You know everything.
It hasn't always been called in different societies. Call it different things. It used the one that makes more sense to me is gobble.
Gobble.
Yeah. Troy's
you
like,
gotta unmute the mic. Why you keep muting?
Oh, I'm not muted.
Oh, well, you're just sitting there looking dumbfounded. You're just
I don't know why we call it that. I think like there's a lot of
I mean, so is that what you call it? What would you call it, Tremonde? Like when you're
I don't know, like I refer to it as like a BJ.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think there are like several different terms that people used to refer to it as.
Head.
Yeah, like head is a big one.
And that's gender neutral.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Ronz, it was a stupid question, but that's okay. Because nobody knows the answer to that question. That term's been around for probably, several decades, if not longer. And different societies call it different things. So that's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Your thumb is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like when I was in high school,
it was dedicated to what the answer is.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
You've never.
You should have looked it up first. Instead, here's what I find interesting.
Maybe your thumb should use the internet.
Well, she wanted to.
Your thumb's a she?
No, she wanted the Beaveman's wisdom.
Well, that means Ron's not gay. If his thumb is a she. Now, if his thumb is a boy, so it's okay when he puts it up his ass.
Maybe his thumb is transgender.
No, his thumb is a she. He said that.
Okay, his thumb's a she. All right.
Ronz, do you paint a little face on your thumb? Put a little wig on it?
Well, yeah, I do. I just got to trim the nail because that fingernail can hurt.
Yeah.
Moving on. Tremonde, have you seen The Purge? Have you seen that show?
Movie?
No.
So that movie is about this teenage girl who has a real body image problem. So she always thinks that she's fat, but she's really not fat. But she gets hungry, so she eats a ton and then she throws up.
Tremonde is like totally believing you.
Okay, this is going differently than I thought.
I know that's not The Purge.
Yeah, it's The Purge. That's my idea of what The Purge is.
I thought it was a dystopian future, and I'm like, okay, this is new. Maybe this is a version I haven't seen yet.
It's kind of like The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is actually about these 500 pounds. I'm talking.
Okay, yeah.
The Hunger Games is about these two 500-pound sisters who are in a competition.
No.
Shut up.
Oh.
Who are in a competition. Who are in a competition to find out who can find a man fast enough and marry them and get them to be the one who always brings them food. Hence the Hunger Games.
Oh, you no.
Examination Day. You know what the real story of Examination Day is? It's about this girl who.
I thought it was pelvis. I did.
Okay,
I honestly thought it was
why
about.
can't I have an opinion? Why can't? Okay, go ahead.
Because
Go ahead.
I'm telling it.
Oh.
And if I'm telling it, and you have something better to say, then you can say it. But what you did is you just stepped on my freaking punchline.
You asked.
I like how you always step over my bit. Either you or Ronz want to step over my bit.
Okay, we'll just
wasn't even
we'll just
a bit.
let you rant on and just sit here. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I don't want to.
You got some long. No, it's not just saying one word. It was a synopsis. What's your
Okay.
synopsis then about Examination Day?
I want you to tell us. I want you to tell us yours. No,
it's you. You tell us the synopsis of the movie of the
no,
show.
No, I don't want to.
How about the lottery? Why don't you take a crack at that one?
Nope. I got nothing. Go ahead. We want you. We want to hear your wisdom. We want to hear your thoughts. Because this
Examination
is your
Day
world.
is the story of a young lady who develops some vaginal itching and drainage, and the trials and tribulations between her and her OB doctor, who is not only nearly blind but has giant hands and a tremor.
Where do you come up with this shit?
Examination Day.
His brain is clearly
coming to a theater near you.
If I were to say that, you'd give me hell.
You wouldn't say that because you're not creative. Anyway.
No,
okay,
yours is much more creepy.
Anyway, so Tremina, have you seen The Purge?
No, I'm trying to think of another movie so you can like create another synopsis.
We'll keep thinking. No, The Purge is another thing. Basically, dystopian society, and one day out of the year, there's a free-for-all where you can kill people. So you can either participate and lock yourself away, or you can be part of the quote-unquote fun. And their idea is if you do that, then there's no violence throughout the whole rest of the year because everybody got it out of their system. So, of course, they target, like, homeless people and people who can't lock themselves in and have a major security system to keep themselves safe. So, the rich preying on the poor. But there's a twist. I'm not going to go into the movie. I'm just talking about the idea. So you can see all these all these shows and these movies kind of relate to each other. But the big question I had comedically, of course, is what and why the Ronz picked Christmas. I'm not sure is when is tradition dangerous? This all just goes to show that tradition is dangerous. When you sit there and say things like, oh, well, we've always done that. Okay, that doesn't make it right. You do this, you see the same thing where you work. And people are like, well, we've always done it that way. Well, that's a stupid way to do it. It's not efficient. It's stupid. There's a difference between it being just completely ridiculous and it being dangerous. And that's why I said, yeah, genital mutilation. That's not an appropriate tradition. You should not keep doing it just because it's a tradition.
So what is the most dangerous tradition that you know of other than genital mutilation and infanticide?
Well, I don't believe that infanticide is a tradition. I think that you're talking about there's a difference between what somebody's doing. That's not a tradition.
Okay, fair enough. But what is the most dangerous tradition that you?
I don't know. I couldn't think of one. That I can't think of everything.
I would think every year the slaughter of pumpkins and portraying their heads or their bodies with lighted candles in them every year is senseless.
So now Halloween's dangerous too.
He didn't say that. He just said carving pumpkins.
Yeah, carving pumpkins. I mean, what is that, to ward off other pumpkins?
I mean, I don't know. Right? I've cut my hand carving a pumpkin, so I feel like you might be onto something there.
How did you cut your hand carving a pumpkin?
Trying to like stab through the lid and take it off.
So you try to lobotomize a pumpkin for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take its guts out first before you start carving it. Yeah. So.
And
why? What dangerous? Do you have an actual serious dangerous tradition?
No.
Ron, that's you. Do you actually have?
There's I can't think of it, but it was bungee jumping before it got really popular. It was an indigenous tribe who would tie their ankles to their with a long rope. Or it's
also not a rope, it's a vine.
Yeah, vine. And then there's the the Christianity that would people, and once again, it's an offshoot of this tribe that would pierce themselves through the mouth or something. Some really bizarre traditions every year, and I'm like, why would you?
Which is what? Which is what? They do what? They pierce themselves?
Yeah, they pierce themselves.
Like where? Like through the penis?
Oh, through the mouth.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's Christian?
Yeah.
Huh.
And there was another one that I saw every year that was an Middle Eastern one where they would cut the top of their heads because they were wrong about something, and I can't even remember it, but I still see the footage in my head. And it was just
it's always helpful bizarre when you can't remember what you're talking about. It makes the description so much better. He's like, there's this thing that I saw.
No,
there was this thing that I saw.
You're asking me to remember.
It was horrible.
The complete.
I don't remember it.
No, you're asking me to remember the complete background details. But this was a religious fanatic where they would they were wrong about something, and they atone every year for it by cutting their heads with razor blades or something.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I mean, I think religion in itself can be a very, very fucking dangerous tradition, as we've seen throughout the world.
I think that you are not understanding what tradition.
I got one. I have one. The people that do where they go dive into the ice water, like to raise money for whatever, leukemia or whatever, they raise money every year, and they do that. And how many people have freaking heart? It is a tradition, isn't it?
I've done it.
And they have how many people have heart attacks?
Done it. Oh, I don't think you guys know what a tradition is.
So, I don't know if a lot of danger comes out of it, but like I think about like the Greeks, like during wedding ceremonies, a tradition is like them like smashing plates. I wonder if there's ever like any injuries or glass being pieces in people's eyes.
That's a tradition. What you're talking about, Swan, is an event. If it's a tradition, if it's a cultural thing that everybody does every year or on a regular basis.
Uh-huh.
Same thing with running. I'm like, I don't think you guys know what a tradition is.
Okay, so like the running of the bulls?
A tradition.
Is that a tradition?
Yes.
Okay, then that's a dangerous, stupid one.
That is very dangerous and very stupid.
But everybody wants to do it. People want to do it.
It's their tradition.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it either, but Ron's
challenge.
Ron's challenge.
Walk upright. You can barely walk upright, but I would pay. I wouldn't pay. I would say if the listeners want to send Ronz to Pamplona for the running of the bulls, that would be totally fucking awesome.
I think it would be.
And he would
Ronz,
do it. He would do it for the
somebody who would be very zippy.
Well, I would have to be.
You gotta, I mean, you would have to be, but I don't know that. You might want to go see a doctor first. Have a stress test done, all kinds of other things. Maybe get in shape. Yeah. Oh, here's one that's cute. Spain, they have baby jumping.
The
Spanish village of Castrillo de Murcia has some interesting ideas about childcare. Since the 17th century, the village has been holding a yearly ceremony. Tradition, Swan, a yearly ceremony in which infants are.
Never mind. I'll just shut up now.
Do you want me to tell you what the baby jumping is, or did you want to interrupt again?
I might.
Go ahead.
Where infants are laid out on mattresses in the street, actors dressed as the devils then leap over them.
Okay.
Sounds like fun. Let's just jump over babies.
Babies are hurt in this process.
The ritual supposedly dispels the children's original sin. For a variety of reasons, the Catholic Church disapproves of the ritual and asks that people stick to baptisms with water. But apparently the festival hasn't had any mishaps yet. But I think it would be funny if they just flat out fall onto a fucking baby as they jump over them. That's called a tradition, Swan, because they do it once a year in a ceremony.
4th of July fireworks. Those are dangerous.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at I'm doing good now. I'm on it.
Yeah, now you're doing
the cheese
good.
roll?
The cheese
Explain
roll.
the cheese roll.
So every year.
Do you want me to explain what I think it is before you do it?
Yes. Go ahead.
Please,
tell us what it is.
Your insight.
The cheese roll at the Ronz household. Every year, he takes a slice of Gouda, rolls it, and this is 1 week before the festival, until it gets super hard. And then on the day of the cheese roll, he turns it sideways, dunks it in liquid cheddar, and shoves it directly up his ass. Cheese roll. A yearly tradition.
There you go. This tradition is at least 600 years old, they say. And I remember this because I watched it on the news just about every year, is that these people roll down this hill.
Who's these people?
And they're actually started in England. It's kind of grown around the world. And
can you tell us what it is?
Yeah, they rolled down a hill, a 200-yard long hill, after a round of double Gloucestershire, if I said that right, cheese.
So in other words, they roll the cheese down the hill first, and then they roll down after it.
Yeah, the event was traditionally held by and for the people who live in the local village of Brockworth, but now it's popular. It takes part all over the world. Okay. But yeah, when you watch this, people get hurt.
Okay. Yeah, so, that'd be fun. Is it like, it must be a super steep hill then?
Yeah.
But you gotta roll down behind some cheese. And that happens every year. And that happens every year. So it's that's a traditional thing. Much like killing babies every year.
The competitors are aiming to catch the cheese. However, it has around a 1 second head start and can reach speeds up to 70 miles per hour.
You're not going to catch that cheese.
Enough to knock over and injure a spectator. So that's pretty cool.
How big is this roll of cheese?
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a pretty big wheel.
You should find a video of that, and we can link it to the show. That'd be funny.
All right, I will.
Cheese roll. Also, find a video of the common practice of infanticide.
I just Googled, and I just want to let you know
that
Christmas trees are a dangerous tradition. They're one of the top 10 dangerous traditions because of fires.
Okay, why did no one think that you were making that up?
Well,
it's
you
probably
said
not
it
as
wasn't
bad.
a
It's not as
tradition.
bad now. That is not what I said. What I said was you didn't understand tradition because all of your examples were not traditions. You're like, how about when people jump in the lake to raise money for charity? That's not a tradition. Unless you're talking about the people that do it on a regular basis, not for charity, that just do it as part of their culture.
Okay, how about that then? That's dangerous.
Anyway, I can't imagine
what
that.
About so since we're all parents here, what about the tradition of rite of passage, sending your child into, let's say, back in the day, out into the woods for a week, and hopefully they survive, they come back?
And have you done that?
No,
his can't even drive to school by himself. He has to get dropped off at the door.
Let's not even go there.
Hold on. Now, you're saying that your parents dropped you off in the woods for a week.
Well, they dropped me a couple of times.
That's what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
No, you're saying that's a tradition, that your parents took you out in the woods, dropped you off for a week.
No, not my parents. But, let's face it.
When did that happen? Within the past 100 years. When did that happen? When has that been a tradition in the past?
In some indigenous, some Native American cultures.
You preface this whole thing.
Now his hands are up, people. His hands are up, so the Beaveman's going to promote.
So when you make a totally fucking ridiculous statement as if it's a common practice for us, and then you wonder why when we call you on it, you're like, oh no, it's nothing that happened. It's nothing that I did.
No, it's not common to us.
Watch this. There we go. So when you preface it and you say, because we're all parents and this is what we do. And then you say, and then you act as if it's something that we do, and you act as though it's been going on forever and ever and ever. And then you wonder when we call you on it, and then you're like, oh no, we don't do it.
So are you talking about when we do it? Wait. Are you talking? Thank you for letting me unmute myself here, by the way. Are you talking about when we do it, that it should be called tradition, or other cultures?
Ronz, you prefaced it as if it was a common practice among us. And then you're like, oh no,
us. It's got to be among us. Okay. What is
Ronz,
us?
That's how you prefaced it. Did he not? He's like, as we're all parents, how about that practice?
Whoa.
Don't he already did it.
All right, fair enough.
Is that what happened to your second child? You never made it out of the woods?
So I think like baptisms or christenings can be dangerous. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos of the priest dropping the baby head first into the
that's not good
bowl, so that can be dangerous.
Yeah, especially or they the ones where they do in the river. Next thing you know, you got some sort of organism that climbed right up your pee hole.
That's bad. That's all bad.
That's bad. I mean, those river baptisms never look they never look like they're healthy. I'm like, you're just basically baptizing them in shit water. It doesn't.
It's holy shit water.
Clean me, Jesus.
But you know that tradition that we've all done as parents, where we take our kid and we drop them off in downtown Chicago, and then we leave them for a week and see if they make it back.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That we've all done.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've all
everybody's
done that.
Which would be worse? A tradition of being dropped in downtown Detroit or Chicago for a week, or being dropped off in the woods for a week?
Ooh, that's
I picked the woods. I'm taking the woods.
The
Yeah.
Taking
woods
the woods.
would be dangerous. More dangerous.
No, I'm taking the woods. Tremonti's like, fuck the
Tremonti
woods.
thinks really?
Drop me,
Oh,
drop me in Detroit,
heck no.
motherfucker. I grew up in Flint. Drop me in Detroit.
Right.
No, you got to do it. You got to do it where it's out of your comfort zone. So we can't drop Tremonti in an urban area. We got to drop you.
No.
We got to drop you somewhere in Alabama,
Oh,
in a town that has a population of 432.
Yeah.
All of them which were possibly related some
that's
way.
nothing but danger.
Well, yeah, Ronz, if there's a population of 432, you can almost guarantee that yes, they are related. I came from a town of, I think, 1,600 or something like that, and there's like 4 families that are pretty well related. Ours is not one of them. Wait, none of us
Makes
married
dating
in.
probably hard.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't related to anybody there, but I also didn't date much because nobody liked me.
Aww.
That's hard to believe,
That's
man.
not true.
We love you. You're the master of our universe.
Hey, you know that tradition that we all do as parents, where every night we try our best to shove a 12-pound bowling ball up our pee holes? Isn't that tradition?
No.
No, but could you introduce us to that?
That has been going on for centuries.
So, out of all traditions which are not dangerous, I said not dangerous, what one would you like to impart on your family to keep it going?
Oh, I already tried, but none of them want to do it.
What?
And what was that?
Just hunting every year for firearm season.
Oh,
Well,
Tremonti?
your children did
Do you have
that
one?
a couple times.
I would do
They
that.
Slept.
Yeah, I have pictures of them sleeping, but yeah.
Well, that's not really hunting. That's just sleeping.
Yeah, they went with me, but neither one of them had any desire to take hunter safety and hunt, which they could have done from the age of 12, I think.
Okay.
I've been hunting one time in my life, and that time that I went, there was a period where like I did fall asleep because we were out there for hours. But that was up against a tree. That was some of the most peaceful sleep I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally what's for. You know, there's a funny thing about hunting. If you fall asleep, it's very hard to see the animal that you're hunting and actually.
So,
I didn't want to touch it.
did
anyway.
you hunt? Did you get whatever animal you were hunting for when you were out there?
No, I went with my father-in-law, God rest his soul. And it was just kind of just like a bonding experience. For a second, I thought like, yep, this is how my life is going to end. He's invited me hunting, and
He's
it's
like,
just him and me.
run, boy.
I've never
Hunting.
shot a gun before, so
He's like, you ever seen it?
But yeah,
He's
it
like,
was-
you ever read the short story, The Most Dangerous Game? Did he ask you that question beforehand? That's what I would have
Or
done.
did you have a black dot?
what's the black dot?
Oh.
From the lottery. Like you're the one who's getting killed.
Oh.
Ron was trying to be funny.
No, but if someday the baby swan does date someone or marry someone, I'm going to take them hunting and say, and before we go hunt, right as we get out there, I'm going to say, you ever read that short story, The Most Dangerous Game?
And they're gonna say no because they don't read.
And then I'm going to say, let me hold your gun and let me tell you the story.
What if they say yes?
What if they say yes?
I
I
feel
will
like
have the
the-
gun before they ever go out anyway. I'll be like, "No, let me hold your gun for you.
I feel like the swan knows you well enough that she is going to have a conversation with whoever she's bringing home beforehand to say, yo, anything my dad says, don't take him up on it. He's just talking shit.
So,
I don't
Tremonti, what's the
know.
one tradition you'd like to pass on to your child?
Say it again.
What's the one tradition you'd like to pass on to your child?
Tradition?
Yeah. Or
Two.
maybe start a new tradition.
It's like 2, not 1. 2. 2, not 1.
I don't know.
Maybe choir clapping.
I don't know if that's
Is that a thing?
tradition. A random one. Get a real Christmas tree.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, why not kill a tree every year for your own personal enjoyment?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Beaveman, you could do that. You could take your kids Christmas tree hunting.
We did that
Yeah, but
like 1 year, but we don't. And then we decided we didn't want to kill a tree every year. So we're not. We got.
Who's we?
Our family. We have a artificial Christmas tree.
It does go easier on not stepping on pine needles.
It does. I did want to before we end this today. There was the last 10 minutes or so. This is the question that I wanted to pose, and this is why I brought all this stuff up. It wasn't just a personal interest of mine.
Oh, wait. What tradition would I like to pass on?
No one
Ronz?
asked you.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Is it not wiping?
No, I would say my love for the outdoors. Right, get out there and see the world for what it can be.
How is that a tradition?
I love to hike, and I'd like to make that a tradition of just going on a quest or
So wait a minute,
doing
just out of curiosity, now your child is already grown, so
Yeah.
did you make that a tradition?
I tried to.
So you've already failed. So why would you sit there and say, "Well, this is what I'd like to do"?
Well, because they might take it up later in life. Your children might rather enjoy hunting because you're not with them. So they might go, I want to go try hunting without my dad yelling at me, right? Or saying, duck, there's the deer, or being in a tree stand. Because parents, I think, tend to overemphasize a lot of the traditions.
Nope, I just asked. They didn't want to go.
All right.
I just asked. They didn't want to go. All right, so then maybe that's what you'll try with your grandchildren then. Get a tradition, your own little ritual of going on hikes with your grandchildren.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. What about the swan?
I don't know.
I could have just moved on, but that's fine.
Yeah, we're moving on. Move on.
That's why I said.
Go ahead. We're moving on.
We'll move on.
That's fine. But that's fine. Anyway, what I was saying was the reason why I thought this was all interesting was because all these different stories that we listen to or that we look at and that we think it's ridiculous that they would agree to do those things. Is that not what we're doing now? Is that what's happening now? Aren't we taking a back seat and watching people die when we could be doing so much more because it's not important to us, because it's not me that's dying until it is? Isn't that really what we're doing now? Aren't we really living this same sort of idea? Aren't we subjecting people to the concept of the Hunger Games and the lottery, the Purge?
Wow. You want to take a comedy podcast and bum it down hard. Not that I don't agree with you, but that's kind of a bummer there.
It was topic of discussion.
That was so serious. That's not the Beaveman I know. Right?
Did you even understand the correlation?
No, I did. I completely understand.
So instead of making an intelligent comment, you just literally went that way.
I had to, because that's a social commentary that's so serious. It's just bizarre. I won't disagree with you, by the way. All right, but wow. If you wanted me to give some...
So seriously, that was your input for the question that I just asked. That was your input, saying that, it's too serious for us to talk about.
You know what? No. If you want my serious input, I agree with you.
Because now I'm going to freaking mute you again, and I'm going to ask the Swan what she thinks.
Poor Ronz. He's muted and he has his hand up.
No, he's not.
I'm muted. I'm not.
Oh, you didn't mute him. I feel like that is what's going on. Like, people are freaking... Well, and maybe that all those other stories people are selfish too. Like, we are a selfish society, and we do watch other people suffer, or we don't care about other people unless it relates directly to us.
Right. You won't complain to change something until it directly affects you.
Yeah.
Which is like the lottery. The lady, she wanted to protest when it was her family that was getting picked. She wanted to protest when it was her dot. But if it wouldn't have been them, she would have gladly stoned somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what's going on right now. And they're making it worse. The CDC is like, oh, you only have to quarantine for 5 days. Well, you're making rules for people who follow rules in the first place. So you can make all the stupid rules you want to. You can reduce the days that you're in quarantine or isolation. But those people already weren't following the rules who are spreading it to everybody else. So all you've done is cheapen this branch of the government. All you've done is make you look like fucking idiots. And it's still up to the states to decide if they're going to follow your stupid new mandates anyway, or your recommendations. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what people are doing. They're like, oh, well, I can go do as much as I want. Or even better, I can YouTube about all these things that I do as a rich person when I'm not even going to be participating in public events because I'm rich enough to go do things privately. But let me make all the other freaking morons out there that are poor subject to all these things, and let them believe all the bullshit that I spew from my fucking mouth. That's what I think about when I think about what's going on now. And you see these fun things to watch, this arts and entertainment about dystopian societies and that were done purely for enjoyment, and saying, but really I can draw a direct correlation to what's going on right now. The interesting thing is if you read the story, The Lottery, and then you read Shirley Jackson's, the interviews that were done with Shirley Jackson afterwards, she was actually saying that she didn't write it just for entertainment. She actually wrote it saying, there's things wrong with society. Why aren't we doing things about things that are wrong with society? Why are we just sitting there and just saying, oh, it's okay to do because we've always done it? That's why she wrote the story. And that's what you're supposed to think about. You can look at it just for entertainment, like the Hunger Games, but it's always a deeper meaning too. Maybe that author didn't mean it, but that the deeper meaning is, why do we sit back and accept things that hurt other people when we could just change them or make them better, which is what we're doing right now. People aren't trying to make the pandemic better. They're trying to do stupid shit like, let's lower the days of how many days you can be in isolation just so that you can get out there and go spread it to everybody else. That's not making it better. That's making it worse. It's a short-term game with long-term destruction. And sorry if that was too serious for Ronz. I was trying to get you to
I agree.
I was trying to get you to think.
No. I agree with exactly what you're saying. And I've often told this to people, and I'll back you up 100%. I'll be serious with you for a second.
Says the guy who does COVID-tay, the way of the COVID with tons of people.
With tons of people.
For hours and hours.
I will still continue to do that. For hours and hours. But the one thing is, when you ask that one question, what are you doing to change the world? And people stand by and go, nothing. I chew their ass out. I'm like, then don't bitch about the society that, you can change. Now, yeah, you're going to lay into me like, I can't change the world. You're right. But you can change your part of the world for you. Your part. You may not change where you are, but you can change yourself to fit the needs that you would like. And no one ever fucking does that. I should say not everybody. Some people do, but it pisses me off when they go, well, I'll let somebody else handle it. All right. Unless it's out of your league. Like, I can't make a vaccination. I can't, but I can do my part to help the world. Right. I'll get a vaccination. If it means being quarantined, yeah, I can quarantine myself. If it means helping somebody out, I can do that. I'll make my world a better fucking place. You don't have to be in it. There's the door. But don't sit there and bitch about making the world a better place and then trying to give it to somebody else's responsibility. What are you doing to change it? And that's, I agree with you. Not many people want to get off the sidelines and help out, or at least they don't want to change their part of the world.
That's an interesting. That's a great tirade. My question is this: how often are you having conversations with people and asking them, "What are you doing to change the world?" and then yelling at them when they say nothing?
At least once a month.
Is this something that happens often, where you just have conversations with people and you just say, "Hey, what are you doing to change the world?" and they're like, "Nothing," and you're like, "You motherfucker!"
Actually, I have that conversation more than you think.
That's a very bizarre conversation to have.
I know it is. It is.
He talks to clearly he talks to a lot more people than we talk to.
They just think of him as this angry guy who's walking around. What are you doing to change the world? Nothing. You sorry sack of shit.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
am.
belong in my world. You should
I
have been
am.
infanticided when you were a child.
Well, I don't say it. I don't say that.
You should have tried on your mom's leg.
I don't say that. But you hear it all the time. It's like, oh, I don't have the motivation. I don't do this or I can't do that. I'm like, unless it's really out of your league, why can't you do it? Seriously. Why can't you do it? Okay, the excuses are I don't have the money, I don't have the time. But other than that, why couldn't you do it?
But yeah, you also do know that, Ronz, that when people say stuff that they can't do or they talk about that stuff, people actually don't want you to comment. You do know that, right?
Yeah. And what do I care? It's not their world. It's mine.
Okay,
and I'm doing that to change my
I guess
world.
that's fair. All right. Any comments from you, Tremonde, on my brilliant perceptions?
The connection that you just made between the two, I just thought was just like kind of like mind blowing, because I've never connected those things to like what we're currently experiencing. So I appreciated the seriousness.
Yeah,
that
thank you, Tremonde.
That's my level of thinking, or my way of thinking, I should say.
Kiss ass.
Not really, because it's all about disparity. It's in this instance, it's health disparity, which is affecting the entire world, and the people who can actually do something about it aren't.
Mm-mm.
And so, how is that any different from deciding who should live and who should die, arbitrarily speaking, which is just like the lottery.
The lobber?
And it's interesting, because I bet if you were to ask some of those people who aren't doing anything to make it better, ask them like their perspective of those movies, they would probably say, oh, these people were stupid, or like downplay those people, not realizing they are those people in real time.
Exactly. See?
Which is
Tremonde gets it, Ronz.
Understood.
Instead of just saying that I'm too serious, I can make some observations.
I never said you could. I never said you could.
Considering you wouldn't even let me do you and the Swan wouldn't let me do my synopsis of movie titles and what the movie might actually be about, which is different.
The Swan stopped yelling that.
Which is different from what the movie's actually about. Swan, your thoughts?
I got nothing. I'm just gonna get my mouth shut over here.
You don't want to tell us what the lottery is actually about?
Nope, I don't. Nope.
Does it involve hillbillies, corn nuts, the Mega Millions jackpot, and scratch off tickets?
Yeah.
And does. Spending 33% of your income that you made at McDonald's?
It does. After you buy your cigarettes.
And then wondering why you can't afford diapers for your baby, and then spending your money on a hand job instead?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Good synopsis of the lottery.
Wait. I have a question. How many names are there for hand job?
Probably a lot.
Well, if you're Ronz, it's a thumb job. It's a thumb job.
It's a Shelby.
It's a Shelby job.
It's a Shelby job.
I bet she's super glad that she did that shout out now, isn't she?
No, she didn't do it. I did it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just said. I bet she's glad that you did that shout out, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
She gets a big kick out of you. She really does. She's a big fan of yours.
See, he doesn't know how to stop. He could just literally stop.
I could stop.
He could just stop.
He can't stop. He doesn't know how.
But
he can't stop himself. He can't stop himself. All right. Well, that's it. That's it for me.
From you one day.
No, that's it for me. I'm wrapping it up here. That's it from the Beaveman. Thanks for joining us. Check out these stories, you guys. I'm actually really surprised that my conservative school allowed us to read these things. And I think that they're really good stories to read. I'm just surprised that you guys didn't. I assumed that the Ronz did because he's older than I am. I assumed that if you would let me finish.
I didn't say a thing.
A lot more literary stories were allowed at our age than were allowed at the Swan's age, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
They didn't start banning a lot of stories.
Yeah, because of controversy and stuff, like, which I thought was a little crazy. Like the baby swan is reading the Scarlet Letter, which we read, but they took that away for a while because it had adultery and other scenarios in it at high school age, and now it's back. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, a lot of places wouldn't let you read The Catcher in the Rye, all kinds of stupid shit.
Yeah. So we didn't read
That's
that.
why I wasn't pointing out that you're old, Ronz. I was pointing out that a lot of times they allowed us to read more things and they didn't start banning stories. There was a period of time where they started just like taking stuff away from schools.
I understand.
But anyway, so check out The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. Great little short story. Examination Day by Henry Slessor. Winonah's Gift, really hard to find. I couldn't find it. Like I said, I had to buy her book on Kindle. Hunger Games, of course. The Purge. It's a fun little jaunt. It's not a story. It's a movie. And by the way, Ronz, you might find this interesting. The guy who wrote The Purge, James DeMonico, he wrote it. He got the idea, or partially the idea, from a Star Trek episode called "The Return of the Arkanons," or "The Return of the Archons," or Arkanons. So there you go. Star Trek shout out for you, Ronz.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, well, that's it for me, the Beaveman, saying, and catch us on the Wisdom app. Again, that's it for me. Adios, witch fuckos.
Bye from the Swan.
Deuces.
From the Ronz to my dear friends who I see right before me. Thank you for a Merry Christmas and have a happy, prosperous New Year to one and all, and to everybody that listens to us. Hey.
Use chapstick.